Hayato Sumino is a Japanese pianist and content creator who is actually pretty decorated. He's won 3rd prize at the Lyon International Piano Competition, and he also got to the semi-finals of the International Chopin Piano Competition in Warsaw. But alongside this, he has a YouTube channel where he goes by the name Chopin with over 1.3 million subscribers. But what does it take to become as good as Hayato Sumino? Well, hopefully today we're going to find out, because he did a video of the 7 levels of playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, which is already an incredibly complex piece. So let's get into it. This is level 0, and he's already added in a moving bass and some fast turns and things that would be very difficult for a beginner to play. I would have thought level 0 would be something like... I have a feeling that he's so used to playing hard pieces that he finds it hard to control himself and wants to throw extra things in. It's very Mozart-esque. If this is only level 0 and level 1, I'm very scared about what level 7 is going to be. It's something like that. It's kind of interesting because he's using quite classical features with all of the turns. And he's also using like a moving bass, which you might get if you were playing a figured bass in like Baroque classical music, like the Bach moving to early classical type sound. I think no matter what you play, if you add this kind of decorative stuff, then it immediately sounds classical anyway. It's kind of funny though, hearing a nursery rhyme turn into something that sounds a little bit more stately and regal. Yeah, now it's definitely getting more interesting. So he's using something in the left hand where he essentially plays a semitone or a half step lower than his destination key. So, for example, if you want to go to a D, if you play a C sharp going to a D, it adds a lot of tension, which means when you play the D, it sounds like it's resolving. And you can do that over and over again. And that is used a lot in classical music, but it also allows you to start throwing in notes from different scales, which is why you get stuff like... This is where I can imagine it's going to get very complicated in the future levels, because I imagine he's going to start using those chromatic notes to move into different scales and keys and make it incredibly difficult. Wow, that's really interesting. I was not expecting that. Now, for me personally, this is actually probably easier than level 0 and level 1. Well, maybe not level 0. Level 0 was pretty easy. Because this is a bit more harmonically interesting, and by that, I mean he's focusing more on chords, which for anyone that has seen my videos before will know that it's something I focus on quite a lot. So, for example, the first chord in this song is a C major chord. But instead, this time, he's using a C major 7 chord. And then like an F major 7 chord. So it has a bit more of a jazzy tone to it, and something that maybe a hotel pianist might do when they're messing around. Yeah, once again, for me personally, I think when you focus on harmony, then you can get some really complex and interesting sounds. But that's just my preference. I know that a lot of people will listen to early classical music and enjoy the intricacies of what's going on. That's super interesting. So now we've almost got like a ragtime kind of feel, where you're kind of getting that cha. This is really not where I was expecting this video to go. I don't know why. It's definitely playing this like a theme and variations, which is like a genre of classical piece where you get one motif or one idea and then it goes through a load of variations of that idea. It makes me feel slightly better about level 0 because instead of it being level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 where they get progressively harder, these are kind of going through different styles and taking that one idea and developing it in some way. So maybe by level 7 we're not going to see his hands fall off, which I'm quite relieved about. Wow, really nice. So this is more like Impressionist French music, which means you're getting a lot of these clashy minor major 7th type chords. It's almost Wagner-esque, maybe slightly Russian. It's actually a really difficult skill to be able to keep some semblance of the melody when you are going through such weird harmonies like this. And he seems to have moved the melody around the chords to more of the black keys. It's very fascinating to watch and listen to. Yeah, that was definitely giving me more like Debussy, Ravel, Fauré, that kind of really French, late 1800s, early 1900s sound. Very nicely done. Now this is reminding me of a Czerny etude very, very early on in my YouTube channel, when I wasn't making videos for anything other than just to post them for myself. I posted a Czerny etude which was based around using left-hand octaves like this. And an etude is essentially a study, so it's usually a piece of music that's based around one technique that you're trying to learn. So that, in this case, might be playing fast octaves in the left hand. It does actually mean that the right hand is a lot less complicated because it's essentially just playing the melody, but with chords underneath it. And that's purely so you can focus on relaxing your left hand and concentrating on the accuracy. Now that's almost criminal. So for those that don't know, this is essentially based around the piece Winter Wind by Chopin, which would make sense that he's a fan of Chopin if he entered the International Chopin Piano Competition. It's actually a very interesting and cool idea, because in Chopin's actual etude you get... So it does make sense that you can kind of adapt that in order to play Twinkle Twinkle as part of those chords, and then play the main fast bit alongside it. Now this is kind of reminding me of the end of Chopin's Ballade 1, and that is a piece that I have learnt, played and performed. And the last couple of pages of that are pretty insane, and it does end with like a massive scale and a large run of notes, and then you just get these silent chords. I do very much like the fact that he's integrating some famous classical pieces. Wow, you really wouldn't want to mess up at the end there when it's like double time. It's pretty incredible stuff. I mean, he's obviously an incredible player. And I actually like the direction that he took it, rather than it being like going from simple to incredibly complex by level 7, although it did do that. I liked the fact that he used the different levels to integrate different styles and different famous pieces that you might recognize. And as I said, it is kind of like a theme and variations, where you take the one idea and then you take it through loads of different styles and genres. Pretty amazing. Maybe I should do my own theme and variations on like a simple nursery rhyme or something. Another incredible pianist that played Flight of the Bumblebee at world record speed is Traum. And in this video, I react to him. So if you are interested in that, head on through and I will see you there.